Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Thursday. Today's guest brought to you by Optic Foliar. That includes John Shannon standing by. The only lights on spray with no damage and no burning to your plant leaves, plant efficiency, nutrition, and results, all combined into a single solution for all stages of growth and safe to use on flowers. Spray it, see it, Rick, believe it. Believe it.
Believe it.
There you go. That's Optic Foliar. Visit this made in BC company online at opticfoliar.ca. Oilers fire Dave Tippett. The Canucks hire Cammi Granato. Martin St. Louis, the new coach in Montreal. I have no idea what we're going to talk to John Shannon about, but we're going to bring him in here. John Shannon, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
Yeah, there's nothing going on in hockey, is there? Holy smokes.
Yeah, I don't know where you want to begin, but how about here in Vancouver, just your opinion of the Canucks hiring of Cammi Granato, whose press conference, by the way, is going on right now, as assistant GM.
Well, listen, I have a ton of respect for what Cammi has done as a player and in her brief time with Seattle and Ronnie Francis and the Kraken. I think it's the right move at the right time. And this goes back to what we've talked about constantly since Jim Rutherford has taken the job, is that he's prepared to think outside the box. And great hockey minds are great hockey minds. It doesn't matter where you're from or what sex you are.
Agreed. Where else do we go here? How about this? What happened most recently, Dave Tippett out in Edmonton. What do you know about Jay Woodcroft, and is he a candidate for the full-time job?
Oh, I think for sure he's a candidate for the full-time job, Donnie. I mean, this is a guy that has had turned down opportunities to join other NHL squads as assistant coaches since he was in Bakersfield. He was an assistant with the Oilers with Todd McLellan, moved to Bakersfield to be a head coach to get that type of experience, turned down a job with the Kings and McLellan when Todd went to the job in LA. This guy is a good teacher, and don't underestimate in part of this deal the role that Dave Manson will have. Dave Manson is going to be and replace Jim Playfair as the defensive coach, assistant coach for the Oilers as well. And Manson has had a hand in making sure some of those young guys at Edmonton or that are on their way up or are already there have made a difference. This is an interesting move at a strange time, but I think it's something that needed to happen.
Hey, John, if I could just move in here for a second here, Rick, again. A lot of people talking about this. Have we lost John? Oh, there he is. Okay. I thought you were frozen there for a second.
No, I'm just listening seriously.
That was a really good job of staying still. You had me fooled. I mean, you've got a talent there. Back to the Canucks. Front office. Criticized for being too skimpy under Jim Benning. Is there a possibility that they've made a lot of hires that there are too many voices there?
No, because there's one voice, and that's a voice that Jim Rutherford will distill. That's the key in all of this. Jim Rutherford is the president of the hockey side. Jim Rutherford will use those voices, build consensus, and they will speak as one. I don't see this as an issue. If you looked at Jim's organization in Pittsburgh particularly, there were tons of people around, including Patrick Alvin. So from that perspective, this is the way Jim wants to construct it. This is an idea that he has had, I think, for a while, and the Aquilinis have given him a chance to execute that plan.
John, everybody seems to be clamoring for a big trade out in Vancouver. Miller, Besser, Garland, you've heard it all. It's been going on for a few weeks. But you also, I heard you elsewhere last week say, you know what, there's going to be patience here by the Canucks. It might be a while before they make a big move, and they're not in a rush to make a big move, in your opinion, John?
No, they're not. We had Jimmy on our podcast, McCowan and I, on Friday. And he basically said, listen, there's lots of names out there, but just know that we're going to take our time. We're going to look through these things. We're not going to get rid of goal scorers. We're not going to get rid of core people. So just be patient. The one thing he tried to insist on is that the leaks that are occurring, if there are leaks, aren't coming from his people, and I think that's important to know when it comes to Rutherford and what he does. The other thing I would have to say, guys, and this has kind of been my phrase for the last 7 to 10 days, is that people in hockey have a biological clock. When we get to the second week of February, we think that there has to be trades because trade deadline usually is around this time.
Yep.
It's a little early to think that right now. I mean, it's March 21st, a long way away when you consider lots of teams are playing a game every second day. So I think we can have lots of conjecture. It's great to have the talk, but it might be just a little early to think about who's going where and when.
John, if I'm the Boston Bruins, I am loving Brad Marchand. I need him in the lineup. I don't need him out for 6 games. This guy is such a wonderful player, but he brings that. You know what it is. He's still got that part of his game. But if I'm the Bruins, I'm pretty ticked here. I mean, there was no reason to do what he did to Tristan Jarry, by the way, a local kid, Surrey native. Your thoughts on, Brad Marchand? How can they rein him in? And, they need him on the ice.
Isn't that funny? I thought they had reined him in.
Yeah.
I thought they had it under control. I think for the last 3 or 4 seasons, Brad Marchand has been one of the most effective players on so many levels in the National Hockey League. And to see what he did, and I hated the stick work more than I did the cuff across the face with less than a minute to play. I think that they will have talked to him. I think that they need Brad Marchand. They need him, and they need him to be rested and ready to go in the playoffs because we know they're going to make the playoffs and be a factor. The other one there, Rick, I really got to be concerned about the future of Patrice Bergeron, too. Yeah. That was a nasty ball. He has had a history of concussions, and you got to hope that at some point that Bergeron and Marchand are both back in the lineup and effective, if you're a Bruin fan.
Yeah, well, his contract's up too, Bergeron.
Such an innocent-looking play as well. A little bit of a collision with Crosby into the boards, and Patrice Bergeron goes down and he gets injured. Martin St. Louis, can he be in it? From what you know, and I'd imagine it's not much as a head coach. From what you know, can he be effective?
Well, here's the big issue. After the Devils' loss on Tuesday night, Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes had a talk and saying, listen, we're having a difficult time evaluating the talent we have because the players have lost interest in the team. They've lost interest in playing for Dom Ducharme. How do we know what we truly have for the next 36 or 37 games if they're not going all out? So they needed to put somebody in place behind the bench to get a temperature in the room, a temperature off the ice, and a little bit of evaluation on the ice. And that's what they did with Martin St. Louis. You guys have talked about the relationships that both Hughes and Gorton have had with Martin St. Louis. So I'm not surprised about this. I was whispered this around noon yesterday, and I thought it was a joke. But that's exactly what happened. And I think, as you guys talked about in the previous segment, this is a trial run. This is a trial run for St. Louis. Does he like the job? And a trial run for Canadians. Do they like St. Louis behind the bench?
Yep.
A lot of people in our Delaney's OK Tyron Langley inbox, John, as we let you go, upset with no crooked pitchers in the background. You're in a different location today.
I am in exile because I'm actually running the editorial side of the CBC's Olympic coverage.
Wow.
And
working.
Yeah, so we're going. Yeah, I know this real job stuff. I'm not sure I like this.
Yeah.
But so we're around for 20 hours a day, and I get 4 hours in a hotel room and then walk across the street. So this is where I am for the next few weeks.
Well, you've done this type of job.
And how about that story? Yeah. And how about that story? Claude Julien shows up, huh?
Yes. Yeah, sore ribs and all. Hey, you've been around for a while, John. How would you characterize the job Beijing is doing hosting these Olympics?
It's a work in progress. They've got some things to do. They're trying their damnedest. There's not many people in the stands.
Yeah.
The one thing I will tell you, this is the first time in a long time I've actually had to worry about one venue. And the hockey tournament really has gone off without a hitch, even though there have been some COVID issues. So it's been fun to watch. And the men's tournament is going to be wild and woolly for the next 9 days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Canada beating Germany today. Hey, John, thanks for this. Appreciate it. Honestly, I thought you stayed still there for so long. I thought we had lost you. I thought it was a freeze frame. Get back to work. You got a lot of work to do.
I have never been accused of being frozen.
It's probably just me. John, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
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 Did you